everyone, I'm Dr. Neda. I'm a single mom of 2 teenage sons whom I love and, like every parent, want the very best for. I consider myself a very strong woman capable of doing many different things. I grew up in Middle East where I witnessed firsthand women fighting for their rights on a daily basis. So you can imagine how thrilled I am with the rise of the divine feminine in human consciousness. Although it's a paradigm that's slow to change and is encountering a lot of resistance, I see glimmers of light everywhere, including at my boys' all-military school, where they've appointed the first female president in the 110 years of the school's history. What concerns me is that pendulums tend to swing from one polarity to another, and I'm concerned that masculine energy will not be respected and honored, and it will lead to more separation between men and women. In a perfect world, we will find a balance between divine masculine and feminine polarities. In doing so, we can unravel the division that impacts us all. This is the reason why I'm inspired to do these interviews, to shine a light on a positive balance. So what is a divine masculine? What does it entail and what does it bring forth? Men in their positive polarities, they're calm, they're centered, they're supportive, they're secure, rational, and very reasonable. They are clear-minded and action-oriented. They're powerful and decisive, and they guide with courage and self-discipline. They're reflective thinkers who passionately guide and help others. These extraordinary men are the ones who lead from their hearts and not with their emotional egos. The wonderful men that I'm privileged to interview are the reflective of the positive polarity of divine masculine. These are quality men who are strong, respectable, honorable, and really deserve to be celebrated. Please go ahead and hit that like button, comment, ask questions, share, and subscribe. You're a very valuable part of this movement, and your opinion really matters. Thank you very much. Light, love, and blessings to you all. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Neda, and I'm really excited and privileged to have Dr. Semih Baghaki with us today in our show. He is a miracle worker. He's a surgeon who does constructive surgeries on people with accidents, cancer patients, children, and he's really changing the people's lives, really. Talking about a guy who works from his heart to make a difference in the world. Welcome to our show,
Thank
Dr. Semih.
Thanks for the invitation.
I'm so glad that you're here. So I'm gonna ask you a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind introducing yourself, where you were born, you were raised, where you got your education, a little background, so we can all get to know you a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I was born in Istanbul, Turkey, and I was raised there. Also, I trained in Turkey and in States as a plastic surgeon. Then I moved back to my home 15 years ago. And I'm working as a plastic reconstructive surgeon in Istanbul at a university hospital. I'm an associate professor of plastic surgery there. But I'm doing, kind of, as you introduced me, a little bit different things than the usual known plastic surgery jobs. But let's say half of my operations are for congenital diseases and, let's say people having accidents and scars or different, unwanted effects of accidents. I'm also dealing with cancer surgery, but half of my operations are the usual aesthetic surgeries like facelifts and rhinoplasty.
So what made you get into this profession, and how did you find out this is your passion? Did you know it from the time you were a kid, or was it something that somebody else inspired in you?
I would say it's like destiny. When I was a kid, I have never thought about being a doctor. But when I was finishing the high school, my mom got sick and she had cancer. I mean, it was revealed that she had cancer. And at that time, although I didn't intentionally go into the medical school, but it just happened because in Turkey, you were getting to university via centralized examination. There are some examples here in States also. And then I got into medical school and I was a caregiver for my mom, but also I was a medical student. And then I finished the medical school. At that time, she was healthy. But again, let me say it's destiny. At that time, I was thinking about coming to States for cancer research. So it was an idea like, I wasn't going to deal with patients primarily, but hands-on job in research part. But at that time when I was finishing medical school, again, a bad surprise, she had another type of cancer, and that's why I just decided to stay there and got into residency for plastic surgery. And then when I finished plastic surgery residency in Istanbul University, I came to States, to Detroit, Michigan, for further training for head and neck surgery and microsurgery. And at that time, my boss was one of the, let's say, leading pioneers in plastic surgery, Ian Jackson. And he was Scottish in origin, but he was such a big name, a giant in the field. 2 years ago, he passed away, and he was like my father. And he inspired me a lot. He used to perform together with me and a few other colleagues, both aesthetic surgeries and also reconstructive surgeries. And for people who are going to pay for it, and for people, let's say, who have no money at all, to orphans and people in need. So it was such a balanced, actually, type of practice. And he inspired me a lot. And now I'm trying to continue with the, let's say, manners.
Yes,
we
with his
inspired
legacy,
from him.
basically,
Yes.
because you learned from the top and you learned how to balance with the people who have the money and who don't have the money, and you're willing to help everyone. And I feel like as a doctor, that's the most important thing, because you're there to help people. It's not, of course, nowadays with the monetary reasons, I mean, it's great to be a surgeon, you can make a lot of money, but also not forgetting the people who really need it and who cannot afford it. And that's very honorable. That's amazing that you've had first-hand experience with a person like him who was like a father to you, and you're continuing his legacy. That's amazing.
I'm trying to do my best, actually, and also I'm writing papers, scientific papers to, peer-reviewed journals. And to be honest, I just, contributed some new techniques to plastic surgery, and every single one of them were devoted, dedicated to his name, and some other people who contributed to me as a person and as a doctor. So it fulfills me, actually, for sure. In modern day, in modern life, we are doing many things for money to make a living. I know, but not everything is money, and not everything is about money. And you can do such things to propel the humanity forward.
Absolutely.
In good meanings.
I really agree with you. So my question will be, what excites you in life? Is it mainly your job, or there are other things that excite you? And what are you, two different questions, what are you grateful for? So two different
topics. That's a nice question, actually. Actually, it's not easy for me to answer this question, because I think I'm still have a long way to improve some dimensions of myself, for sure. My profession, what I do, is feeding me, and I'm grateful to have all these accomplishments, and hopefully many more to come. But also, apart from the profession, training the young surgeons, training medical students, both in medical field, but also in our spare times in fields other than medicine. This fills me a lot. This satisfies me a lot. And we are talking on different issues in life, about private lives of any of us. And I have many students and residents coming from other parts of the world also, and trying to improve ourselves in our social dimensions, and sharing experiences from young people. They are improving me, and I'm trying to improve them in some means, and the feedbacks are really good. And this is another point that I would say satisfying me.
That's amazing. And where do you find peace? Is it still in your work, or do you feel like maybe the ocean? I don't know. For me, like dancing, I love dancing. It's almost like meditation for me. But where do you find your peace?
This is another excellent question, actually. I have peace in many different, places or at any given time, and it just, depends on me. And I think anyone can train him or herself to concentrate on the moment and to the place at any time, even with many diversities of the daily life or problems. But for me, I actually have peace in the sea when I'm swimming, and also in microsurgery under the microscope when I'm repairing and fixing, vital structures like vessels, like nerves, who are so tiny to see with your bare eyes. That practice needs a peaceful frame of mind. And I also had an unbelievable person, and I really have difficulty to find the exact words. She passed away also, Melinda Bradford. She trained me in Detroit, Michigan for advanced microsurgery, and we had such an amazing time. Actually, it might be hard to define such precious moments to somebody else, but anyone can, comprehend or imagine such different moments, but you feel it.
Absolutely. It's something you cannot really explain. It's from the heart. You cannot explain like the sweet, the taste of sweetness unless somebody has tasted that. So some emotions and some moments, you can tell somebody, but they can never feel the emotions that came with it.
But the main thing with those experiences is you don't feel that time passed. So time stops, or you don't feel just you got older, but you got a better version of yourself at the end of that time period. It might be 1 minute, it might be 1 day, it might be a whole life, but when you feel the place, the time, and your soul, everything together, and you just feel that you are improving the whole life as like a living organism, like a living creature. And as a part of that living creature, you really feel, if you want to feel, you really feel. Whether you are fixing some vessels under microscope, or you are singing or dancing, or trying to, contribute to humanity.
Absolutely. So what would you say is the biggest enemy of humanity? Or the other opposite of it would be, what would you think would be the best thing for humanity? Like one of the things that we can all do to save humanity, help humanity. Either way, either one you can answer. Because some people say, well, if we can get rid of this, it will help humanity. Or if we can do more of this, what would you say, since we're talking about humanity?
I think some keywords should be stressed, should be kept in mind, like balance. It's so easier to say than
absolutely. It's like done. I feel like the only people who are really balanced are the monks and who are really enlightened and meditate. It's very easy to say it, but how would you define, how can people get more balance in their lives?
If we feel that we are just parts of a whole living creature, maybe we can just feel the others, but also feel ourselves. Because I think the modern days people are just raised to concentrate on the accomplishments and the goods to be, let's say, to be bought, or the privileges to be taken, but these are, I think, virtual things, and I think humanity just lost its bonds with the nature, and maybe now we are trying to remember
bring it back. You're right. The connection that we've had with nature. You're absolutely right. Especially we're inside all the time, and with work schedules, with cars, with whatever we're doing. You're absolutely right. The connection with nature, even connection with each other. you know, I feel like it's become very virtual. It's, you know, through the phones or, you know, the connection when people are together in presence of each other. That's totally different than you're texting somebody or talking on the phone. You know, when you're in, because energy exchange, although energy is everywhere, but when you're closer in proximity, it's different. You feel that person, even if you're not talking, you can really feel the other person. So I
İyi misin? Bir nasıl yürüyorsun bir göreyim bakayım. İyi, gayet güzel. Şöyle bir zıpla bakayım ayaklarının üzerinde. Süper.
Tek ayak üstüne edebilir mi?
Tek ayak üstünde zıpla bakalım. Dıpla.
Öbüründe
Dıpla.
dıpla, öbüründe.
Buraya da dıpla. Süper. Oraya da oturacak mısın?
İlk önce bacağımı bir göstereyim.
Göster bakalım. Hoş geldin.
Çorabımı da çıkarayım.
Hadi çıkar bakalım. Süper.
Bir şey diyeceğim. Şurası biraz acıyor.
Kaşınıyor mu, acıyor mu?
Acıyor. Bir de
Acıyor.
kaçınıyor.
Bir oynat bakalım şöyle. Yap bakalım. Oynat. Şöyle. Yap. Süper. İyi. Gayet iyi görünüyor.
agree with you, the connections.
I totally agree with you too. And during the last, let's say, 50 years with industrial developments, actually we thought that more technology and more news are always better. No. The news are not always better. It's not destined to be, actually. But the one keyword is nature. The first one was balance, and the second one is nature. And also we can see nature is keeping the balance itself.
Absolutely.
And when we remembered that we need to recycle, we need to decrease our consumption all over the world, it's when we found that we are depleting the resources. So the nature is teaching us and also leading us, okay, you have ambitions, you have imagination, you have a great brain, okay, but calm down because you don't know everything.
Absolutely.
Don't feel and don't behave like you know everything.
Yes. And usually, you know, people say that is the planet going to get destroyed? Earth is going to go. And I personally believe Mother Nature balances itself. If anything, we will be destroyed, but the planet will be here because it's part of a bigger picture. So
Yes.
I feel like whatever we're doing is to ourselves, basically, because Earth is not going anywhere. Nature will balance itself out because it just knows intuitively to do that.
And plastic surgery is like a recycling technique, and we are performing tissue transfers. We are trying to use some parts of our body like spare parts to repair a
The other
deficient and, let's say, injured part. So philosophically, plastic surgery just gives another satisfaction to me because when you repair something, you feel like you are repairing the nature.
Yes. Well, we are part of nature too, humans. I mean, if you really think about it. So you really are fixing part of nature indirectly.
Indirectly.
So now I'm going to go to a totally different topic, which is not really totally, but almost. So if you would define love, what do you think love is? I mean, this is totally, we're switching now.
A very difficult question to be asked
Yes, it is.
to me.
Well, why to you specifically? Everyone has their own definition, but
Yeah.
how would you define it?
Actually, I think love is everywhere, but we need to focus on, and this is something we have in our hearts when we are born. But I think when people get older, they have times both they forget and then remember what love is and how important it is. But we need to raise kids with the real definitions of love. And nowadays, I can see in many parts of the world that kids are raised by handing a cell phone or a tablet to them, and they are just focusing on a screen, and I think this is not natural, and this is not going to end well to me. And
But as
love,
you said, we are designed, we were born with that in our hearts and opening our heart chakra. I mean, I feel like we're all capable of doing it.
Yes.
If we, especially as kids, you're right, that's already innate in us. And I believe that's our most powerful superpower that we were given, really, our hearts. I mean, our brain is amazing, but our heart is so much more powerful than our brain. And it has its own brain. It really, I really, you know, there's been so much research that
I understand
there is
what you mean.
more nerves, even biologically, in our hearts than our brain. So I believe, for me personally, I feel like if we focus on love, loving each other, loving our environment, loving ourselves, loving nature, God, universe, whatever, we can become a more enlightened, more complete human. What would you say about, like, for me, I think that's one of the most important things we're here to experience as humans, but I might be wrong because that's my opinion. So what do you?
Actually, I agree with you, but you know, in a very noisy place, you cannot actually listen to somebody else, or even you cannot concentrate what's going on in your mind. Okay, so in today's life, there are many noises. The input rate is so high, so I think this is a drawback to listen to our hearts. But for sure, there are many ways to learn and improve. If we don't know how to love or how to hear our inner voice, but the love should start with, you know, self-love, self-esteem, and parents should raise their children in the sense that the kids should be aware of themselves and should love themselves first. Because a person, if he or she doesn't love herself, himself, I mean, it's so hard to love somebody else. And so I think having a self-esteem and self-love, but not an exaggerated amount of self-love.
Not an arrogant. I understand what you're saying, but I also believe that, you know, with our experiences we learn. Every relationship with the parents, and then let's say you're in an intimate relationship, you get married, you have a girlfriend, whatever it is, we're not the same. So we're learning, we're growing, we're getting wiser, we have more experiences. So I believe that also the relationships that we have, it's really a lot of times it's a reflection of ourselves and what we are missing. So I think it's a great thing to have in our lives. What do you say about intimate relationships like girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife? What do you think are the most important things in those kind of relationships?
Actually, we find people with a reason. And most of the time the reason is we should complete some parts of ourselves, and a partner should be, let's say, a reason for that. But you know, the courage is important, because if we are trying to be a better version of ourselves, it takes courage. It takes courage to change your taboos, your mind, and your fears. And your partner, for sure, he or she also has that kind of drawbacks.
We all have our 5-year-olds within us. Yes, yes.
and two people should actually walk almost at the same direction in the means of completing themselves. So if this doesn't happen, then some people choose to struggle, choose to conflict, and you know, this is self-destruction. So at that time, you should just quit, actually, because if you don't, it becomes a toxic relationship. So if two person just, you know, trying to complete themselves together.
Yes, and become better versions of themselves.
Yes, this is not, you know, just trying to change somebody else to the point that we design and to the shape that we will just like. No, this is not going to work actually.
Yeah, it's not going to work because I feel like it's very important to be who you are in a relationship. And if you're free to be who you are, then you're more open. Both people are more open to listen, change, and especially if they know in their heart the other person wants the best for them, then it's very important. It's not because they're selfish and they want that person to be the way they want. It's because it's good for that person. Whether they're together or not, it's good for the other person. And the intention is right. And I think that's very important.
Exactly.
In any relationship, in friendships, families, a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, I feel like the intention of the other party is very important in your growth. So if I know, even with my kids, when I'm doing, like telling them, criticizing them, but they know it's coming from my heart because I want the best for them, it's different than I'm trying to put them down or insult them. That's not the intention. The intention is because I want the best for them. So I really believe that you're absolutely right. When two people get together and they want the best for each other to complete each other in a good way, then it will work. And if not, if you're every day somebody's criticizing you and finding something in you, I don't know, that's like... I feel
A healthy level of self-esteem is important. A healthy level of self-esteem is being peaceful with who you are,
yes,
but also admitting that you might have some, let's say, faults and let's say drawbacks to be fixed or to be, let's say, made better. A healthy level of esteem also just creates a balanced and lovable relationships.
absolutely.
And in nature, we are just made of, let's say, two cells. One from woman, one from man. And these two cells are becoming one and creating, a human. So these two cells are not, struggling or fighting each other. They are collaborating and in, let's say, exactly equal amount of roles. So we can take this example also.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I've never even thought about that. But you're right. If you just look at nature, we can learn so much. And I think even so far as we've come, we've learned a lot from nature. That's why we even came this far as humans, and we're learning. But always going back to nature and really seeing what's happening is very enlightening. You can find all the answers in nature, I believe. Like we have it right in front of us, and sometimes we don't even see it. So you also have to have the heart and the eyes of the heart to see it too. Sometimes some things are needed to be felt, not so
You're
much
right.
with the brain. Because sometimes some things like love, you can't really analyze it with the brain. It's something you feel. Some things, there is no words for it to be explained.
If you look into, yes, you can find it. But,
yes,
it takes some time, some patience, and, some focusing.
absolutely.
But nature teaches us.
Yes.
We are our hearts.
So nature is beautiful. So what do you think is a great, beautiful quality? What makes a person beautiful? A human being beautiful, or a woman beautiful? You're a guy, because this is about women, of course. We want to know what guys think about what makes a woman beautiful.
It
Besides
differs.
makeup and eyelashes. No, just kidding. Wake up, my love. You're fast asleep. It's all an illusion which seems so real. Wake up to the uncertainty, to the truth. Break the wall and look beyond.
I've been a patient of Dr. Neda for over 10 years, and I'm in construction industry. Whenever I hurt my back, I come here and she fixes me right up, acupuncture and cupping, and usually fixes me within days. My wife and my 2 children also attend here. She's very good. I recommend her. Thank you.
To me, actually, having a quality conversation is of paramount importance, and there should be, some new things getting my attention, and also I should see that a woman is listening to me and finding what I say just exciting, interesting, or worth to listen. So if we are taking and giving back and forth this communication, this is the first thing that I'm looking for.
That's amazing. So are there other qualities that you think makes a woman more attractive? Because a lot of women, we think, oh, it must be our looks, we need to be young. But men don't think that way. It's amazing that men's idea is so different. When they choose a partner, of course they look from outside, but there's so much more that goes that men look for. And I'm realizing as I'm getting older, I'm learning, of course. So what do you think are the traits that, let's say, you would marry a person? Like, what are the qualities of that woman? Of course, besides, let's say, being beautiful in your eyes, because beauty as we get older and whatever, it goes away. And you're being a surgeon.
For everybody, it applies.
You've seen what happens. Some people get in an accident. I mean, you've seen all kinds of people.
Yeah.
So.
But the soul, the spirit is totally different. Our bodies age at a really predictable way and pace, but our souls are almost always prone to improve. So actually in a woman, I would like to see a trait not to be the others. Actually,
Just to be herself, her real self,
authentic, and not leaning on trends, not chasing the trends and what others do. I'm not that type of person. I wouldn't say I don't like, but I'm not too interested in such people. But this is just my opinion.
Yeah, everybody has their own opinion.
My trait.
So you're more looking for a deeper soul, evolved soul. It's all about the soul, deeper within that person and their wisdom and maturity level, rather than the outside. I don't want to say vanity, because our society is in a way that we all try to look good, we all try to take care of ourselves. Now the 40-year-olds look like 20-year-olds. But at the same time, if there's no depth to it, and if there's no, the person has to bring more to the table. Even for me, a guy can look amazing, handsome and muscles or whatever. But as you said, if you cannot have that connection and communication, and if I cannot learn from that person, even if it's a friend, how much time can you really spend with a person that you cannot connect with?
You use two words, depth and to learn. So depth means hard to find. So if it's easy to find, actually I don't find it interesting. So if I see a girl with due respect, but like many others, why would I go for her? This is my opinion again. And learning, yes. Not for just humans, for every living creature. Living is a journey of learning.
Absolutely.
So if I don't learn, and if I don't push my borders, and that that specific partner doesn't help me or motivate me or encourage me or reflect that I need to push myself further beyond the borders, so it's not so valuable to me.
Absolutely, it's the value that we're all looking for in another person, and what they bring to the table and what you bring for them, because it cannot also be a one way. It needs to be both ways. So we're going to shift again. We're going into, as we're all getting older, what do you like about getting older? Is there anything you like about getting older?
Actually, getting older heals you much in many ways. Because when you live, when you experience, you define the past experiences in a different way, not like you define at the time of experience.
Yes.
So the things get their meanings in time also, and just living and also witnessing that journey, your journey, and the journey of time it's so unique. And the humans believe that such experience is just, let's say, destined or it is just for humans. No, I think every single part of this nature experiences, trying to learn, and together, all of us create a one living and
organism. Like really, we're part of the
Yeah.
same thing.
learning and living
That's
creature.
true. Even
This
if
is,
you
this is
look
what
at
I
the
believe.
trees and the flowers and everything in nature.
They are in communication.
Exactly.
It's shown scientifically. The trees are trying to moving each other if they need that. They are talking to each other in a specific way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we know animals do, and now, even the little ants, they're always communicating with each other. So it's amazing that it's everywhere, not only humans. It's great. It's so fascinating. And I love the fact that the way that you talk about nature. It's really amazing.
Thank you so much.
So where do you go when you need good advice? Are there people around you that you respect them, because I'm sure so many people come to you, and you mentioned even the young people who are learning from you, you learn from them as well.
Yes.
But are there certain people that you look up to and they motivate you, you go for advice if you know them in person?
That's another beautiful question. Yes, I have some people whom I can open up myself and disclose my limitations or problems or bad things that I'm experiencing or not able to figure out. There are some people, yes, not in my country also, but in some other parts of the world. They are all, scattered to 6 continents, I would say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you have help everywhere. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, yes.
Most of the time, yes. And for sure, that is another good experience of getting older, because you are just piling up such beautiful people like I am doing now with you. So having such people around you is priceless.
I agree with you. And these are the experiences that they stay with us. And I feel like, some things, they're so valuable. No monetary thing can really replace that. The connections that we get, the people that we meet. And even if you meet that person for a short time, they say something or do something that can change your life forever. I've had patients in my life that I've seen a couple of times. They've said things that really, like one book has changed my life, just because that person just came one time and told me about the book, and I read it maybe 30 years ago, and it really made a huge impact. And you're right, these connections is what makes life beautiful.
Unpredictable is not something bad. I mean, if something is unpredictable, this is not something to be scared of. But in modern life, usually we are trying to predict and standardize and calculate or limit or enhance something, but unpredictable is not so ugly.
I agree with you, because I feel like no matter how much you plan, most of the time it doesn't go as you planned anyway. And if you just go with the flow, things really work out much better, as we are doing right now here. We are just an example of that today. Even, sometimes you plan things, and if it's not working out the way that it was planned, maybe it was for the best. I mean, not sometimes, most of the time it's for the best. So
we didn't have any opportunity or time to come together before the shoot, but
everything works out at the
Really?
end of the day.
Really?
It really does. So I want to ask you about your relationship with your mother. I know that because of her, you went into your field, you took care of her. And how was your relationship? Did you always have a good relationship with her?
That's another beautiful and dangerous question.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Not actually. She passed away 9 years ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I didn't know. Sorry about that.
God bless her, but
God bless her.
This is the infinite experience of life. Death is a part of life. It's not a continuation of life. I think it's a part of life. So every day, many cells are just dying, and many others are, let's say, created. And with my mom, actually, for sure, I love her, but we had our own conflicts in social life and also maybe in educational life. But she never insisted on anything to me, and just being raised in a free spirit was really a gift to me. But I really loved her, and she fought with cancer for, let's say, for 15 years, and medically she had many problems. But during that journey, we fought, but it wasn't just a war. It was a learning experience, and I became a doctor, and I touched many other people's lives. So
Such an amazing thing came out of that.
We just made out a beautiful experience from that tragic or dreadful disease, because it happens to many people. So if you just feel that, how come this happened to me? How come this happened to us? What did we do wrong? And God, didn't mercy us. No. Just
you made the most out of it, the best out of it, actually. And
I'm trying to.
And how many people's lives you've actually affected and changed.
That's why I'm still operating on people in need, not just for aesthetic problems. And I'm not downgrading aesthetic surgery. No, for sure. I really like the facelift surgery that I am performing, and my patients are uniformly pleased, and that's a good thing. And I am just, happy with that. But if I operate on a cancer patient, and if I know that I did one of the best surgeries he or she can ever had on this planet, this really fulfills me. This satisfies me. And if I don't get any money about that, most of the time, I never charge them, and in some patients for sure I'm charging, but this is.
This is a great example of why I'm doing even this show, because I'm interviewing men who lead from their hearts and not from their egos. And this is what I define as a high value man, because right now in our society, high value men, they say you need to have a six-pack, 6 foot tall, lots of money, lots of cars, and women. And I feel like that's such a distorted definition. A high value man, that's why I decided to do this show. This is the reason why I'm doing this show, because of people like you who are leading from the heart, who are really, like for me, you're considered, this is the person I respect, look up to. You're making a difference, and you're leading from your heart. You're helping people in need, and you're trying your best for humanity and for everybody else. You're grounded, you love nature. These are qualities that are really amazing. You're always trying to grow, make yourself better. It goes way above and beyond the money and the six-pack and the 6 foot and and all that stuff that nowadays people talk about.
Thank you so much.
So that's very admirable. I'm really happy that you're here. Really.
Thank you so much. As I told you before, I don't like the trend to be like many others. No. And although I'm 6'2" and I have a
you have a six-pack.
I would say I have 4 packs, but
almost there.
Almost there. But I really like to be like stem cells, and stem cells are not show-off cells. No, they are like sleepy cells, but when they awakening heart movement, when they awaken, they proliferate, they change other cells, and if they have to, they fight, and if they have to, they just put the, let's say, fight down. They just, bring the peace. And when do stem cells get awakened? After trauma. Any kind of trauma just awakens stem cells, and we live and we get older with the help of our stem cells. And who lives older? Who lives in a healthier way? The people who protects their stem cells. So this is the philosophy that I am trying to live my life.
And it's amazing. I love the fact, I believe really you should write a book about this or more conversations, like another maybe podcast or interview. I love the fact how you compare humans to all the cells of the body and how you're making, it's amazing. I've never heard of this concept. I think maybe it's a brand new concept that you have, because you compare how we need to live our lives. You go to even, because they say the micro and the macro, it's all the same. So above, so below, they say whatever it is in the universe, it comes down. Everything is
Exactly.
within us. So I love the fact that, for me, I like to go out into the universe, into the soul, God, spirits, and things like that. Like, I like to go out and expand. For you, I feel like because of your profession also, you go in and you focus more. It's the same result at the end. It depends how you get there. There's so many ways to get to the same place. But I love how you do that. That's amazing how you just compared humans to stem cells. Never heard of that. Do you have other analogies like that? Because this is so interesting.
Thank you so much for giving the credit. And at the end of this year, hopefully, if nothing unexpected happens, my book will be published.
I hope that you've included all this in there.
Yes, actually.
Oh my God, I can't wait. We can't wait.
I'm presenting this, point of view to life.
What is it called? Do you have? Oh, you don't want to share the name yet? Not yet.
Not
yet.
if you let me to myself now, but for sure it's going to be an experience and a point of view to be shared with everyone. So, but yes, this is what I want to spread to other people, because I think we can fix some flows of modern life with a perspective coming from nature, and
That's beautiful.
looking into deeply but patiently, silently, but not in a, let's say, not in a lazy way, no, just in a concentrated way to nature. So we'll see at the end of this year.
That is very exciting. I'm so glad that I mentioned that. I didn't even know, but it's amazing that
You captured.
I captured the energy of it. So this leads me to another question that I want to know. How would you like people to remember when you're gone? I really want to know that, because you're an amazing human being. I'm sure so many people are going to remember you, but what would you like people to remember you?
Actually, this question is in my mind all the time, almost every day, because life is not guaranteed. It's not granted for any of us.
Absolutely.
And so tomorrow I might be gone.
God forbid, but yeah, we never know our next moment.
So we need to make the most out of it.
Yes.
And not for just myself, but to the self, the whole
self.
Yes. So I will not be sure and aware of how people will remember me or will say about me. And I'm not trying to actually imagine what they are going to say, because this might get me out of my track or concentration. And if I feel the nature of myself, my creation, and put myself into life every single second, whenever I may roam, then naturally and I think for sure, people will remember me the way worth to, spend a life on this planet Earth. So it's just about concentrating and feeling good, thinking beautiful, and I think thinking honest. And if you combine these three ways of thinking, then you act.
Yeah, they usually say if your thoughts, action, and one more thing, it was thoughts, actions, and your heart is in the same place, then you're on the right path. Like everything aligns, then that's a beautiful life, because inside, outside, you're the same. And I love that. And I love the fact you said naturally and not naturally. Like with nature, that's amazing. I'm like, did he do that on purpose?
Yes.
You did that on purpose. I wanted to.
But you are catching me in every
because I'm
single
like,
point.
Is that? Did he do that, or am I just hearing stuff? No.
I knew that you were going to ask this.
Yes. See, you see. I know what you're doing, and you know what I'm doing. This is perfect. This is a great communication. I like
we
that.
got the frequency.
Yes, that's correct. So, what do you think makes a good leader? Who would you consider a good leader?
A good leader should have mercy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because mercy comes from courage, and mercy comes from patience, and mercy comes from, again, nature. And if you don't have mercy, you might most probably have fear. And one of the most dreadful type of fear is, fear of death. And you can see many leaders, but just officially leaders, who are trying to be, on the throne as long as they can. But a real leader that people will remember forever. It's not about time that they are keeping their authority. No, and it's I think it's the amount of change they can implement. They can motivate. So a leader should have, I think, mercy, and also be open to change him or herself and others, because this makes a leader different than the followers, being able to change inside and then deliver the change outside.
Absolutely. So my last question, what is the simplest fact you wish more people understood, or that would make humanity better for all of us?
I think every single person knows this by heart, but maybe being much more aware of it. The experience of life is not a selfish experience. So, not I am living on this planet alone. There are many other people, and being in contact with other people's lives and making this living experience as a shared, as a communicated way of living, it's important. And as I said earlier, being open to change inside and being open to change outside is critical. But doing this without much of fighting, conflict, and struggle, these are also parts of our lives. Actually, I mean, you cannot imagine or you cannot implement a life without fighting. So actually, this is not natural. Again,
I mean, even in nature, the animals fight. I mean, you look at what's happening. Tsunamis happen. A lot of things happen.
Our cells are fighting each other
Yes.
in some ways, but we shouldn't be enemy of ourselves and we shouldn't be enemy of other people, I would say most of the time. This should be so reserved. Fighting happens, conflict happens, for sure, struggle happens, okay? And we cannot get along well every time, I see. But if we can, decrease the amount of struggle, conflict, then for sure living experience, I think would be at utmost happiness.
I completely agree with you. That's beautiful. And what a great message to reach out to everyone.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank you so much for your time. This was amazing.
Thank
This
you so
was
much.
really, I feel so enlightened, and I'm in a different level right now after
thank you so
talking
much.
to you, learning so much.
That's
Really,
very nice
I
of
feel
you.
like I'm a different person from an hour ago or when we started this interview. So Dr. Sami, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thanks
for being
for
here,
invitation.
putting your time.
My pleasure,
Really.
my pleasure, and
I appreciate it.
hope to meet again.
Yes, same
Hopefully.
here. Likewise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was so glad to see Carlos when he came to see us because he had sharpshooting pain on the right side of his body and it would switch over to his left side. He had sciatica, numbness in both feet. He also had very bad low back pain and knee pain. So the other doctor suggested that he needs to lose weight to relieve the pressure off his joints. But because of his weight, he had no energy to go to the gym, exercise, or even walk around the block. The good news is, after 8 months on our all-natural, fat-loss, easy-to-use products with no dietary restrictions, he was able to lose a whole human. He lost 158 pounds. He basically became a whole brand new person. He looks amazing. He has very high energy. All his aches and pains are significantly reduced, where he almost doesn't feel them anymore. He's going to the gym, playing basketball, and he's going out and meeting new people. We're so pleased that our products change his whole entire life.
You do this every day? Yeah. Why? Because I love it.
Please go ahead and hit that like button, comment, ask questions, share, and subscribe. You're a very valuable part of this movement, and your opinion really matters. Thank you very much. Light, love, and blessings to you all.